Western Conference Finals tips tonight for Dallas. This is their second conference finals appearance in the last 3 seasons, while Minnesota is making its second conference finals appearance in its history, with the other coming 20 years ago in 2004. Anthony Edwards is the 9th player, age 22 or younger, to be the leading scorer on a conference finals team in the last 50 years. 7 of the prior 8 lost, with LeBron James being the only player to lead his team to the finals. Good company to be in. The NBA's leading scorer, Luka Doncic, faces off with the top team in opponent points per game. This is the 6th time since the merger where the scoring champion faces the #1 defense in a playoff series. We love all these matchups.
Wow, look at these stats.
Matchups within the matchups. I'm just dropping knowledge on folks today. You can use that on your radio.
I will.
If you want to use those notes, I'll share my scripts with you. All right, with all that in mind, Austin, do you have the Mavs? Do you feel like they have enough to win it all?
This is such a tough question because I look at their dynamic duo of Kyrie and Luka, and the first thing I want to say is yes, because those two can outscore anybody. My only issue is depth, and if one of those two go down, if one of those two are having an off game, the people they're relying on right now who are playing great basketball, Derrick Jones Jr. has been fantastic for the Mavs. P.J. Washington has found a whole new career in Dallas. These are the guys they have to rely on. I'm not saying they can't come through. I'm just saying these are guys in new positions. We talk about Minnesota as a team being in a new position. We talk about these guys in, you talk about the Super Bowl of the NFL or the NBA, the finals. This is a whole different type of cloth. So we're asking P.J. Washington, a guy a year removed from playing in Charlotte, Derrick Jones Jr., some of these other guys to be vital, not just role players, vital role players for a team trying to contend. When you compare to the other guys, Boston, their role players are Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Naz Reid, 6th Man of the Year. Rudy Gobert is a role player on the Minnesota. So we're talking about some high-level guys. That's my only concern with Dallas. Do they have enough? I'm not here saying they're not. I'm not going to be the one to limit PJ's capabilities or Derrick Jones' capabilities. They've been fantastic all playoffs long. These are just guys I have to see in that light, and they have to continue to prove. I need more validation. That's all I'm saying. If we're comparing them to the teams left, that's what I'd have to answer that.
Well, listen, for me personally, I'm going to answer the question directly by saying I think they do have enough. I don't have them winning this series, but it's not a knock against them. It's just props to Minnesota because of their length and their defensive tenacity that I think that ultimately will rule the day. I could see it going 7 games, to be quite honest with you, a Game 7 back in Minnesota for it to happen because I expect a thrilling series, and I can't wait. But nevertheless, when you look at the Dallas Mavericks, they do have enough. With Luka and Kyrie in the lineup together, they're 43-20. That's what their record is, 43-20. Obviously, about 8-4 in the playoffs, about 35-16 in the regular season. These brothers together feeding off of one another, that says a lot. It also says a lot about the importance of what a true superstar is. Because do you realize, guys, I don't know if you realize this, Austin, Doggy, but most of the contributors that the Dallas Mavericks have on their squad, they've acquired in the last year and a half. It's not like they built for years. Because you had Luka, you were able to build a roster around him from the 2023 NBA trading deadline. Kyrie Irving, P.J. Washington. Okay, Kyrie Irving in 2023, trade deadline. P.J. Washington this year, trade deadline. Derrick Jones, 2023, free agency. Daniel Gafford, trade deadline this year. And, of course, Lively, your draft day deal with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's what you did. So give Nico Harrison props along with Jason Kidd. Think about how they have them playing. Think about how different they were when Rick Carlisle was coaching them over the last several years before he transitioned to Indy, whereas you got Jason Kidd doing what he's doing right now. As an aside, let me throw this at you. Doggy, Austin, this don't really have much to do with the subject at hand, but I had research do this. I couldn't wait to tell y'all this. Do you know that of the 15 highest paid players in the NBA this season, Rudy Gobert is the only one left in the playoffs?
Ruru. Yeah, I saw that stat.
Rudy Gobert.
That is remarkable.
For the 15 highest paid players in the NBA, Rudy Gobert is the only one left in the playoffs. And out of the 15 highest paid players, 13 of them were either eliminated in the first round or didn't make the playoffs at all.
What you saying?
So I'm like, yo, we got to look at that. Because you know what? When we talk about these superstars, well, it gets to a point where what's really defining it? Because at some point in time, when we look at Ant-Man coming, right? What are we raving about? We ain't raving about his stats and that's it. We're raving about the fact that this brother's the marquee and he seems to want it. And all the noise that comes with it that justifies the salary that he ultimately is going to get when his new contract kicks into high gear. Those are the kind of things I think for a later discussion, not today. We need to have a conversation. A, what is truly a superstar in the NBA in this day and age? And two, who really, really qualifies? Who really qualifies?
I don't know.
Because
Sounds
clearly
like an
numbers
A-list,
alone,
Stephen A.
numbers alone ain't doing it.
It's fluid.
Sounds like
It's
Stephen
fluid.
A. might need to
It's
get
fair-
a little
no, it's fair.
A-list cooking right there.
He loves the fluid line. Listen, I would put them third out of most to least likely to win it all. I put Boston 1, Minnesota 2, Indiana 4. Now, I would have done it before yesterday.
Yeah.
But if I think Dallas can beat Minnesota, and I do, and we see these signs about Boston, which
Yep.
we do, and we don't know about Porzingis' health, which we don't,
Yeah.
and we have Luka, I won't say his last name because I can't pronounce Doncic, and we have Kyrie,
Irving.
who are a tremendous 1-2 punch, and Irving's won a championship, and Luke is great. I have to give him a chance. I mean,
They definitely got a chance.
They got a chance.
Dallas could definitely win.
There's not a doubt. Now, if Denver was in it, I wouldn't. You and I were discussing that.
Yeah.
As I love the Denver moxie and Jokic. They got a chance. I don't think they will. I think they will come up a little short. But if you ask me right now, in 3 weeks, is Dallas going to win an NBA championship? I would not be shocked.
Here's the deal. You got Kyrie Irving. You got of 22 players who've averaged 20 points or better this postseason, he's the
Okay.
best three-point shooter of anybody, shooting 44% from three-point range.
Yeah.
That's the plus. Here's the minus for Kyrie Irving, and I hope he's watching because I think that what he did in the first 2 rounds is exceptional and sensational as it was, particularly in the second half. Kyrie, do you know that Kyrie Irving is averaging 1.6 points in the first quarter? He's got a grand total of 19 points in 12 games in the first quarter, 12 playoff games. He's going to need to do a little bit more than that in all likelihood
Got to get cooking a little
against
earlier.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Needs to score. He did score in the fourth quarter against Oklahoma City. He had a great 6 on Saturday night. He played well.
He's going to need to start strong earlier.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. We follow. We pick up what you're putting down.
In LA?
Steve,
Look at
stay focused. Stay focused. We went to college. I mean, it was public school, but come on.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Think I'm gonna try to wear, I pull up long range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here,